High Tension, the 9-4 favourite. Masked Ball, 7-2. Veritable, 11-2 from 6-1. And Rana Pratap is 8-1 from 6s. Mill Plantation also 8-1 from 6-1. And Ballydurrow steady on 8s. King's Crusade is 9-1 from 8-1. And Northern River, the 100-1 outsider, friendless in the market, they all show.
10, Masked Ball with Martin Fry riding for Peter Calver. Masked Ball having a cracking season. He's won 3 times. He acts on any going. This distance will be ideal for him, and he's in good form too because he ran a good race at Doncaster last week. Doncaster last week in a 1.25 mile handicap on the first day, and he didn't look to have a very good run. There he is, arrowed on the rails. And throughout the closing stages, it was a question of whether he could get out. And for once, things didn't go well for Martin Fry, who was told to come up the inside rail by his trainer, did exactly that, but just didn't get the break that he needed to get squeezed through and possibly come and win. And you'd think that if he had got through, got a trouble-free run, he must have troubled Follow the Band, who won the race. But the gap never came. Martin had to sit and suffer, and in the end, accept the situation. And plenty of people reckon that he'll gain compensation here this afternoon. Doesn't it look nice in the sunshine, the tree-lined walkway out onto the course? The hospitality tents in the background. That's the pre-parade ring and the leads onto the walkway. The stables in the background and the stable lads' quarter. All here at Ayr. They really try hard to make everything go well for their big meeting. They care about their customers, and I should think with the weather holding up so well this week, most people have really enjoyed themselves. Masked Ball going down quietly, collectedly. And there's number 14, Northern River, Nicky Carlisle, who did well here yesterday. And Nicky will be hoping that Northern River is in a tractable mood, because he didn't appear to be when he ran the other day at Hamilton. It was in a selling race, and Northern River tore off in front for Chris Dwyer. He was blinkered that day, he's not today, and stopped as if shot once he'd been headed. But he seems to be reasonably collected this afternoon. So, Northern River, a horse who goes off in front. Here's one who comes very much from behind, Ballydurrow, Dave Nichols in the saddle. Ballydurrow, a horse with a really good turn of finishing speed. He's been a wonderful servant to his connections. Big, strong animal, a 9-year-old. He's by a horse called Doon, who was a decent animal himself. And Dave gets on with Ballydurrow possibly better than any other jockey who rides him. He's just a little bit of a quirky character. Usually runs very well, but will stop the moment he's hit the front, and needs to be weighted with. And Masked Ball being taken very quietly through these preliminaries by Martin Fry. Martin, who's gradually worked his way up. He's done very well in the last couple of seasons and is now well established as one of the best lightweights in the north. There's Veritable, Tyrone Williams. As you can see, Derek asked Tyrone, did this horse pull hard? Tyrone said he wasn't too bad, he just needed a good gallop. But you can see that he is an animal who, if you didn't control him and allowed him to bowl along, could well take charge.
This Ayreshire Handicap is quite an appalling record for favourites. Just look at this. The last 10 have been beaten. Only 6 have gone in 39 runnings since the war, but look at these. And how many of them did you back, I wonder? 11-8 there, Cannon King, for instance. And Fascadale, who won the race twice at 7-1 and 9-2. When he was favourite, he was beaten at 11-4. And Cladder at 7-4. Actually, the last successful favourite was Swell Fellow, trained by Jeremy Hindley, 11-8 in 1974. And that was the shortest price Ayrshire winner there's been since the war. Now, there's no doubt here about who the favourite's going to be. That's High Tension. Hills on the rails here just went 5-2. That was taken 2,500 to 1. It's 9-4. That's solid. And Ladbrokes, they did at 7-2, down to 5-2 to lose 100,000 this morning. But top of the head, 9-4 High Tension. There's been money for Masked Ball, but it's now out to 9-2. I can hear it being called Masked Ball at 9-2. And the best backed horse outside the favourite's been Veritable, number 6. They did 6-1 Veritable. It's 5-1 on the boards, 9-2 on the rails. Well backed each way, that horse Veritable. The top ones are on the slide. Run over Traps, an 8-1 chance. Mill Plantation's an 8-to-1 chance. I've seen 9-to-1 Ballydurrow, and I've punched 3 people showing you. And it's 10-to-1 against that King's Crusade. I must say here, I came to Scotland with a bit of elegance and style and panache. Don't wave. But my hat keeps falling off. I'm clutching myself all round the racecourse. Let's have a clutch from Newbury, shall we?
And the winner there, number 20, Powerbender, the 5-2 favourite. Second, number 15, Mailman, 8-1. And third, number 2, Coastar, 11-1. Non-runner number 7 and 13 ran.
So, High Tension, trained by Gavin Pritchard-Gordon, who's just trained that big winner down at Newbury, Powerbender. What a grand horse this has been to own this year. He's been out of the money only once, and that was when he was in the Ebor. He finished 5th that day, so he was hardly disgraced on that occasion. Tony Murray takes the ride. Tony, been around for a long time, very successful jockey, good judge, rides mainly for Tom Jones. Had a lot of trouble with his weight over the years, but now has that under control, and has had 1 or 2 comebacks, and it's certainly a tribute to his perseverance and skill that he's still around and very much a force to be reckoned with. High Tension, a rather dull chestnut colour, but he does look well. If you go into the races for the first time and saw him, you perhaps not pick him out as one of those who'd be likely to win a prize for the best turned out, but he looks as well as he does usually, and that's the important thing. And there, the right-hand end of the course, and a little chute just behind those horse boxes and buses, nestling behind the trees, and they'll suddenly spring into view. The punters in the stand can't see the start there. There's runner for tap, Phil Waldron. He's an old professional runner for tap. Had a busy season, 11 runs in the frame or won 8 times. Here's some latest betting.
High Tension, the 9-4 clear favourite. Masked Ball is 9-2 from 7-2. And Veritable also a 9-2 chance. Rana Pratap 8-1. Mill Plantation 8s and 8-1 bar.
Ballydurrow is slowly into its stride, and through the first furlong there doesn't seem to be that much pace on. King's Crusade just showing the way. Veritable sitting in second, Rana Pratap settled third, Masked Ball 4, High Tension 5, Mill Plantation. He's on the inside in 6th place, just ahead of Northern River, who's well and truly anchored today, and at the back of the field is Ballydurrow. But it's King's Crusade and John Lowe setting what seems to me to be quite a sedate pace. Veritable in 2, racing 3, Rana Pratap 4, Masked Ball 5 is Mill Plantation, 6 the jolly old favourite High Tension. Then comes Northern River and Ballydurrow, the back marker. Still King's Crusade, who sets the way to Veritable in 2nd place. Then racing in 3rd in the striped jacket is Rana Pratap, 4 is Masked Ball. These followed by Mill Plantation, High Tension, then Northern River and Ballydurrow. And they begin the sweep out of the back straight. And as they do so, the prices on offer were 9-4 High Tension, Masked Ball at 92 and Veritable at 92 and 8-1 bar those. Which includes King's Crusade, who's out in front, Veritable in 2nd, Rana Pratap 3rd. Masked Ball racing 4, Mill Plantation 5, High Tension in 6th place, twice a course winner already, and starts to make ground on the outside of the pack. Masked Ball in the spotted jacket, then behind these Northern River closing up. Ballydurrow not that far away, and they're levelling up for home, 3.5 to race. And it's King's Crusade the leader, Veritable going well, Rana Pratap, Masked Ball. Behind these comes High Tension, who quickens up the best. It's 2.5 to go. And it's still King's Crusade. Veritable comes there strongly. Tyrone Williams now shakes him up. Rana Pratap on the outside. Here comes High Tension down the centre of the track in the black jacket. Just caught a bit flat-footed as Rana Pratap quickens up and goes on. And it's Rana Pratap from Veritable. High Tension back in 3rd but closing. Ballydurrow gets a run through next to the rails. They're coming inside the final furlong. Rana Pratap, High Tension in 2nd. Ballydurrow is 3rd. Just half a furlong to go, and Rana Pratap going for home. From High Tension in 2nd place. High Tension trying to close, but won't do so. Rana Pratap will win. He is the winner. Rana Pratap, High Tension 2nd, Ballydurrow 3rd. Then Mill Plantation and Veritable and Masked Ball. A big gap to King's Crusade, who beat Northern River. And so at 8-1, the winner of this Ladbroke Ayreshire Handicap is number 3, Rana Pratap, by Mrs. Georgie Thornbury, and Nolene Lewis, trained by husband Geoff at Epsom and ridden by Philip Waldron. Philip's 31st winner of the season, and of the team of 10 horses that Geoff sent up here, he's starting to get amongst the winners, really peppering them now. Second was number 5, High Tension, just caught a little bit flat-footed and unable to quicken over this trip. Remember, his 2 previous wins over this course have been over a mile 5. This was a mile 3, the risk you had to take. And third was number 8, Ballydurrow, ridden by David Nichols, and that one just plugged on one pace inside the final quarter mile. But Rana Pratap has brushed aside top weight and brought a smile, no doubt, to Geoff Lewis's face.
Difficult situation for most of the riders in this race because most of these horses are held up and most of them would have been far better suited by a stronger gallop. King's Crusade made the pace, but as Graham pointed out on 2 occasions, it wasn't a strong one, and it was always on the cards that the horse with the best turn of foot and closest to the pace and able to produce it would win. Now, Veritable looked like that horse early in the straight, but he hasn't maintained his acceleration. He takes the lead, but once in front, he's immediately pressed by Philip Waldron on Rana Pratap. Rana Pratap, he usually comes late on the scene in his races. I suppose it must have gone through Philip's mind that he was taking a chance to go for home, but your opportunity comes in a race usually only once, and he had to seize it. He seizes it, he goes clear by 2 or 3 lengths, and then it's a case of whether he can last home. High Tension, caught flat-footed and having plenty to do when the tempo quickened, didn't look there as though he's going to get into the race. Ballydurrow, who also has to be held up for a late run, the same applied. But throughout the final furlong, they begin to whittle away the advantage. Rana Pratap, who Geoff Lewis said at one time he wouldn't get in anybody's book of war heroes, has shown plenty of courage today. He really has run on well. High Tension is closing, but the post is going to come too soon. Ballydurrow is keeping on well, but they can't produce that short, sharp burst they do normally because the early pace has been slow and the leaders haven't stopped.
And the bookmakers haven't stopped winning either. Rana Pratap returned at 8-1. The second High Tension was the 9-4 favourite, and that means the last favourite to win this Ladbrokes Ayreshire Handicap was way back in 1974. What a dream race it's proving for the bookmakers. And the third, number 8, Ballydurrow, went off at 9-1. So clearly the system, for those of you who follow systems, to crack it up here at Ayr today was those horses who ran on Wednesday. Solo Style in the first, a cracking race that ran to be second. Emerald Eagle went in at 8-1 after running here on Wednesday. And here this Rana Pratap, fourth at 20-1 behind the much better class Santiki and Rakaposhi King, goes in at 8-1. Isn't it wonderful to know about these systems after the race, how much better it would be before? Some of you may have thought of it then, though.
It's all very smug afterwards, isn't it? But McCrick's the first to point out that you should never take any notice of any form in conditions races, which of course was exactly the race that Rana Pratap had run in on Wednesday. But he's a good, consistent horse. He had a chance in this on what he'd done before Wednesday. If you took that literally, then of course he was a great bet. But hindsight's 20/20. What did you make of it, Graham?
It's very easy after time, I must say, but good old Mac rattles them in. The thing about Rana Pratap is that the majority of his runs, or his better runs, have been on softish ground, and the ground has got progressively firmer during the week here up at Ayr. That was the theory. Practice turned out to be different.
And this horse, who was virtually given away by his one-time owners, and Geoff Lewis bought it off the insurance company because the horse had a serious hock injury at one time and didn't look as though he'd ever race again. And Mrs. Thornbury then bought him off Geoff, and they're doubtless very pleased that they kept him.
Today he was recording his 5th career win.
This is the longest distance over which he's been successful. Last year's victory was gained over 7 furlongs at York. He then won at Epsom towards the end of last month, and then today over 11 furlongs.
King's Crusade, his stable companion, set that slow pace, which could well have suited him and enabled him to get the trip here. So let's check this SP.
First, number 3, Rana Pratap at 8-1. Second, number 5, High Tension, the 9-4 favourite. And third, number 8, Ballydurrow at 9-1. Tote returns, win £5.90. Places £1.80, £1.10 and £1.70. The dual forecast paid £5.60 and 8 round. At Warwick, in the 2:30, first number 9, Fell Climb, 5-2. Second, number 5, Bashful Lad, the 2-1 on favourite. And third, number 16, Parsons Pride at 7-1. Non-runners here, numbers 2 and 6 and 3 round.
And with us now, trainer Geoff Lewis, who brought a raiding party. What, 10 horses up from Epsom beginning of the week, Geoff?
Nine. But, you know, it's been difficult because the ground's been against us all. I put up horses with all soft ground, thinking that we would get it, and of course we haven't got it. This old horse goes on any ground, so I mean he wasn't inconvenienced.
But you actually run him twice. You run a Paddock run twice. Was that the plan at the beginning, or did you?
Well, it was. I mean, you've come all this way, and they both run on the Wednesday, and they only saddle. Well, they're only 200 yards away. They're pretty tough horses, him and Solar Style, and it's proved that he just got beat half a length, and with a bit of give in the ground, he would have won. Doesn't hurt horses if they haven't got to travel, and the jockey thinks about it through the race. You know, they don't have their corners knocked out of them. Yeah,
it's a bit like Australian style. When you get to those festivals there, they run them twice or sometimes 3 times.
Yeah, I think it doesn't hurt horses. I mean, if they've got a constitution, you can't do it with every horse. I mean, you've got to pick and choose which horse it was. I mean, you certainly wouldn't do it with Restore, a horse like him, who he's got his own way of going anyway. But I mean, he thinks it's a turn up the straight. But he's a horse that takes the race badly, and he comes home and he's usually jarred up a little bit, you know. So it takes 4 or 5 days for him to get rid of the jarred upness. Horse that can take it. I think it's when you're up this far, you can take full advantage of it.
Geoff, of course, you're double-handed in this race. To what extent were you running as a team?
Well, if it'd been soft ground, no, the two jocks, it's entirely up to them. On the soft ground, I'd have fancied the other horse to have reversed it.
Well, here is the closing stages. When we can just get a
Well, he got first run on High Fidelity, what it's called, high dimension, high tension, who I think got 2 ways of going, and we had planned that we get first kick, and he likes to coast up to horses on the bridle. With this old horse, Philip kicked for him past the 2, and all of a sudden Tony's gone from looking confident to looking very uncomfortable. And once he went for the stick and the old fellow was still in front, he wouldn't beat him then. But Johnny told me on the other horse, though, that he wasn't striding, and I brought him all the way up here, and it wouldn't hurt him, but it would inconvenience him, and so, I mean, we've got to wait for the soft ground for him.
But, Geoff, I remember you said earlier in the year that you wouldn't ever call Rana Pratap one of the great American war heroes.
No, but then at the same time, he doesn't. I mean, he wouldn't win a short head if he could sort of get beat a head without doing too much. I mean, he keeps about a neck up his sleeve. He does not been bullied and bashed around, and yet he's as tough as boots. But he doesn't do bad for I think Timeful had a bit of a squiggle against him at one time.
Well, no squiggles against Geoff Lewis. Many congratulations.
Thank you.
Derek.
Right, time now to give you an update on the Channel 4 Trophy, sponsored by Paul Roger. This is the competition for the horse who wins the most races during the 1986 flat racing season. There is the trophy. Let's have a look at the leaderboard. Well, right at the top, we've got Moon Madness, 6 wins. And look at all those on 5. Aventino, John Sutcliffe's horse, that's gone to America. Crofters Klein, 1,300 guineas. Dancing Brave, Felipe Toro. Some real good handicappers there. But the one they've got to catch is Moon Madness, the horse that's improved so much that he won a classic at Doncaster last Saturday.
The French Raider swing just checked for room there, and with 2.5 to go, the race really opening up. Moon Madness coming strongly through next to the rails, but Celestial Storm has got first one on all of them, and it's Celestial Storm clear from Moon Madness in second. Back in third is Untold, 1.5 to go, and Moon Madness now kicks and goes for home. Moon Madness from Celestial Storm, Untold in third, Shrink in 4, a furlong to go, and Eddery picking up on Moon Madness, and Moon Madness storms 2, 3, 4, 5 lengths clear. Moon Madness is going to win this very handily indeed. That's the post. Moon Madness is the winner. Celestial Storm is second, Untold third.
Yes, one of the most improved performers of the season. Moon Madness leads, but there's still 7 weeks of the flat racing season to go. Let's have an SP from Catterick.
Won by number 11, Cool Number at 7-2. Second, number 3, GG Magic, the 2-1 favourite. And third, number 2, Dune Venture, 7-2, 9 round. And at Ayr in the 140, a roundup of results here, starting number 18, the winner of our first race at 5-1. Second, number 9, Solo Style, 11-2. And third, number 6, Turfer, 9-4 favourite, 8 round. The 210, first, number 21, Emerald Eagle, 8-1. Second, number 12, the Marsdal, 5-2 joint favourite. And third, number 1, Posterage, the other 5-2 joint favourite, 8 round. And the 240, won by number 3, Rana Pratap at 8-1. Second, number 5, High Tension, 9-4 favourite. And third, number 8, Ballydurrow at 9-1, 8 round.
So we close our coverage of Scottish racing up here at Ayr. Our next Channel 4 racing is at Newmarket in 12 days' time, and what a feast that looks like being. 4 consecutive days, and amongst the major races, we've got the Tattersall Cheveley Park Stakes, in which the top 2-year-old filly Minstrella tries to put her crown beyond reach, to the Group 1 Middle Park Stakes, and the William Hill Cambridgeshire, the first leg of the Alton Double. And then on Sunday, we go on to Longchamp, the Trust House 40 Arc de Triomphe, a Channel 4 racing special direct from Longchamp, where we bring you full coverage of what promises to be the showdown of this or any other season. Our top horses, Dancing Brave, Shadari, Sharastani, in against the German horse Assetanago, trying to match this style shown by the French style Bering last week. Yes, there's a lot to look forward to here on Channel 4.
You might like to know that there's a Channel 4 racing diary now available from newsagents and shops, and it costs £3.20.